All right, we're live.
Good. Well, thanks, Dan. Good evening, everyone. It's April 25th, 2023. It's 6:01. This is a special meeting of the Weston Board of Education. The board held an executive session just prior to this, and no votes were taken and no decisions were made during that meeting. We have a quorum of board members. One not here. He's in Europe on work. The first item on the agenda is for Pledge of Allegiance. Would someone like to lead that? We'll go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everybody. The one item on the agenda is matters pertaining to personnel, and it's a discussion and vote regarding a new Director of Human Resources candidate and the contract associated with that. Lisa, would you like to present this?
Sure. Thank you very much, Steve. I am very pleased to present Dr. Paul Rasmussen, who is joining us in the public session tonight, as our candidate to be our new Director of Human Resources. And I would like to take this opportunity to ask Ann Leffert, our Interim Director of Human Resources, to take us a little bit through the process, which was a very thorough process involving postings, different rounds of interviews, performance tasks, and to thank all of the people that volunteered to sit on the committees, some of whom could be watching this evening. So Ann, could you please take us through the process?
Sure. Thanks, Lisa. Ann Leffert, Interim Director of Human Resources. So the process was started,
Director of Human Resources, and I would like to take this opportunity to
feedback. Okay, I'm going to start again. Tina Henkel and Lisa began the process by screening our applications. We had between 16 and 18 applicants for the position, and for a position that was posted in March with an expected start date prior to the end of the school year. That's a good number of applications. So those applications were reviewed. There were 6 candidates who were brought forward. The postings were throughout the state of Connecticut. They were posted to several national organizations, the Connecticut Education Association and SHRM, which is the Society for Human Resources Management, and was posted, extended posting on CT REAP. We made the decision to post for not just folks with HR business experience, but also folks who are certified as administrators in the state of Connecticut. So upon that review, 6 candidates were brought forward. Our first committee consisted of Patty Faber, who is representation of the Administrators Association, Brian Broad, who represented the Weston Teachers Association, Ian Shaw, AFSCME, represented our non-certified group, Julie Gavoni, assistant principal at the high school, was on the committee, Kathy Pascarella, the administrative assistant in HR, Tina, Lisa Henkel, and myself. So we had created a task for each of the candidates to perform arriving to the office a half hour early. And they were presented with a task of a scenario about you're noticing that there are patterns of educators being out on Mondays and Fridays. And, you know, a lot of people being out those days, difficulty with subs, whatnot. How might you solve that problem? So they had to come in with a response to that. The committee then asked, I believe we had 12 or 13 questions that we asked of each candidate. After each candidate spoke, I asked the committee to give me positive qualities of each of the candidates, and then also areas that we had questions about, so that I could follow up with any candidates that we did not bring forward to give them feedback on their interview. But it also helped us disaggregate everything we had heard into a page of what we thought of each person. At the end of our 2 days, we had 2 days of interviews. The committee was amazing working together that first day. At the end of that first round, after 2 days and much deliberation and a forced choice, a forced ranking process that I took the committee through. We also evaluated their responses to each of our questions. We had 3 candidates that we moved forward as finalists to the second round. The Wednesday evening prior to April break, each of the candidates, the finalists were notified and said that they would come in on April 17th. And so they were scheduled for the Monday after April break. And they were presented with a task that Wednesday before the break of a task that Lisa had put together. And Lisa, I'll have you describe that in a few minutes, but asked them to work through a pretty rigorous task and to bring their results to us in some kind of presentation, however they wanted to present it. The second round committee was more of a central office committee. We had Tracy Edwards, Director of Special Ed. Tina, Lisa, and myself were on the committee. Melissa Walker, Board of Ed member, was there. Phil Cross, Finance, Dan DeVito, Instructional Technology. Am I missing anybody, Lisa? I think that's the committee. So that committee, we did the same thing. The person came in and told us about their task and how they evaluated. It's a budget process task, and went through a series of questions, similar process, ranking their responses. And then at the end, doing a forced ranking for each of them. After very lengthy conversation, the forced choice, rank them numbers 1 through 3. By the end of our meeting, Paul was the unanimous first choice of the committee. I don't know if Lisa, you want to talk further about the task that we asked them to do?
Sure, thanks, Ann. So the task was one that Tina and I designed. And basically the task was to look at the 2024 budget, the recommended budget that we had proposed, and any accompanying documents. As you know, there's a lot of things posted on the website, including about sections, projected sections, things like that. And the task was in moving forward and looking to the 2025 budget. The task was, what would their best recommendation be of how to, excuse me, of how to reduce our 4 FTE, full-time equivalency of our overall district budget. And so, you know, what we had hoped was to analyze all of the materials and then kind of synthesize them, and looking at sort of a global K-12 view, what would they propose would be a minimal impact to instruction for learning, to the lens of the idea of academic return on investment. And that it was very interesting to see those presentations, I would say. And I have to say that Dr. Rasmussen really gave an excellent presentation, very analytical, but also understanding at a deep level the functioning of a school district K-12 and how to look overall, not just at the teaching staff, but overall at the entire staff, to figure out and have some possibilities for us moving forward. Because, you know, that is going to be the work moving forward, to continually review and revise and really study our staffing to make sure that that we have the best possible staffing and that we are meeting all those students' needs. So the presentations were, you know, you came in, you had to present with you know, we left it open. So it could be anything from bringing in a paper handout to Dr. Rasmussen did a presentation, technology presentation, and took us through his thinking, and we could ask questions and all of that. And I do want to add that the questions that we asked, both in the first and the second round, were very carefully crafted, especially the second round, to elicit responses on some real challenging issues that HR faces. Things about, you know, Title IX, as we said, staff attendance, you know, staff evaluation, how to support staff in positive ways. They were very involved questions, and I see some people shaking their heads. So we spent a great deal of time reviewing each and every answer that candidates gave to reach our unanimous choice. Thank you. Anne, I don't know if you wish to add any more.
I don't think so. I'll answer any questions that anyone might have.
Any questions from the board? I know we discussed quite a bit in executive session. Lisa, I do think we need to talk about the contract. I think that it's part of the agenda.
And I would let you talk about the contract if you will. I know that you have a copy of the contract. It's designed very similar to the other administrative contracts that we have.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, with the same, I guess, detail.
Yep, it's a standard contract for an administrator at this level, and it was built off of the previous director's contracts. So pretty standard language. The term of the contract, we would recommend May 30th as the first day, going through June 30th of 2025. Candidate, if they decided to leave for another position, would have to give us 90 days notice. There's opportunities for contributing to a 457 plan or a 403B plan. There's no contribution by the board on that. The typical number of vacation days, 25, 18 sick days per year, can accrue up to 200 of them. There is no payout of those upon leaving the district or retirement. 5 personal days. Tuition reimbursement probably would not apply to Dr. Rasmussen as he has a terminal degree. He has a PhD, so he's at the apex of our educational system. Expenses for his travel if he goes to a conference. He's evaluated by the superintendent of schools. There's a paragraph in here about termination, the reasons that could lead to termination, and then that's about it. Salary is listed in there as well. Sure.
May 30th start date, May 30th
Correct.
of
30th.
the end of this coming month.
Yes, the end of next month.
Right. And
Yeah.
any issues for Dr. Rasmussen leaving his current position?
No, typically most districts are looking for 30 days. And Dr. Rasmussen has already notified his superintendent, asked him to keep it quiet, but that he was in all likelihood going to be coming to this position. And we were looking at a May 30th start date.
One thing that I can just add is if you go onto the district website and you look at human resources under contracts, you will see the contracts for all of the unions. You will also see our contracts by position. And Dr. Rasmussen's contract will be posted once everything is done on that line as well. I think it's really important that in going into this position, we need a director. We have tried to have a manager. We have tried to have someone that could manage both the certified and the non-certified. And what I'm excited about is we have someone that has that ability to really analyze and synthesize data and move us forward in the area of HR. You know, our budget is 78% staffing, and we need to have someone that can really, get in to looking very carefully at the staffing, supporting the staff, making sure that everything is being done to the very best that we can, and that we are, again, through that academic return on investment, staffing the very best possible way, also with our fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayer. And I am confident, having worked with both directors as well as managers in this position, that this is what we need in this position moving forward. So once everything is settled, the contract will be posted next week.
Thank you. Paul, would you like to say anything to the board?
I'm excited for this opportunity. One of my core philosophies, I'm driven by this, that effective human resource leadership is that keeps people at the core of what we do. And I'm looking forward to working with the staff within Weston Public Schools, from the teachers in the classroom, building leadership, custodians, administrative assistants, district leadership here at central office, and of course, the Board of Education. So I'm eager to get started, and I'm looking forward to the work.
Terrific. And we're looking forward to having you join us, subject to a vote we're going to take in a couple of minutes. But I think, Paul, you'll find that This is a very collaborative group of individuals, and certainly everyone on this call, the administrators, the Board of Education, the principals. It's just a very good group of people. You know, Weston's a very different town than Fairfield, certainly, if not only in size. But you know, one of the nice parts is, not to sound trite, but everybody knows everybody, and certainly within the school community. You know, and luckily all of our schools are, you know, all on one campus, and, you know, you're not going to have to do a lot of driving to go to the various buildings. So, you know, car allowance will probably be a little bit lower, but that's okay. Lisa will drive you around in her golf cart.
Well, I will share the golf cart. I do let Dr. Henkel drive it. I've offered it to Ms. Edwards. She likes being a passenger, as does Mr. Cross, but the key is always available. Ms. Saketa keeps track of it.
There we go. Are there any questions from anyone on the board that? anyone would
Steve,
like
it's Melissa.
Sure.
Before we move to vote, I just wanted to say, well, welcome, Paul. If you remember, we met during the second interview round, and I'm so thrilled you're here tonight, and that you're the candidate chosen and recommended by the superintendent. I fully support that recommendation. I thought your interview went very well. You bring a lot to the table. I appreciated your answer to the problem set. And I think your skill set and your background and your knowledge of the educational systems coming from Fairfield will be a great asset to Weston. And I fully support your coming to Weston, and I look forward to welcoming you. So thank you again. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? So with that, can I have a motion to approve the hiring of Dr. Paul Rasmussen as the Weston Board of Education Director of Human Resources?
Move that we hire Dr. Rasmussen.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I think the motion language needs to be a little more robust than that.
I have the language if you want.
Good.
or-
Okay.
All right, thank you. I don't have
I don't-
the,
I don't have the language, sorry.
me
Okay.
either.
David.
I have it.
Do you
yeah.
have it, David?
I
Okay,
do,
great.
yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Move that the Weston Board of Education approve the contract for the Director of Human Resources, Paul Rasmussen, with a base annual salary of $158,000 for the 2022-2023 contract year and $163,000 for the 23-24 contract year, and authorize the board chairperson to sign the contract on behalf of the board. The board shall vote prior to June 30 of each succeeding year on the annual salary for the Director of Human Resources.
Thank you, David.
It's a little more detailed than mine. You're right.
Yeah, more detailed than mine. So let's start all over again. Can I have David, would you like to make a motion to?
He just,
I believe I just did. I don't want
Oh,
to
I'm
repeat.
sorry. That's right. You made the motion. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find your language.
I'll
Is there a
second.
Okay. All those in favor, let's have a voice vote.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Bernadette.
Hi, Chad.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, David.
Hi, Steve. Any opposed? Congratulations, Paul.
Yes,
Everyone,
welcome.
look forward to meeting you. That's the only item on the agenda. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Second?
I second.
Okay, we can do a voice vote here. All those in favor?
Hi,
Aye.
Sharon. Here we
Opposed?
go.
Hi.
There we go. Well, thank you.